Welcome back. This is Alden Antonucci with another awesome, fun, extreme power hour podcast where I got some great friends of mine. I've got Susan and Martin, where they've got this amazing book, The Body of Nine. Maybe some people have heard of this book because it's starting to take over, which is really awesome. I'm glad to know that people are finally starting to take this and put it into practice. And so, a lot of people will think, looking at the cover, The Body of Nine. So is that in reference to my body, your body, everybody's body? And I'll just let you take it from there, Susan.
Yeah. The Body of Nine, of course, it's a reference to our body. It's a reference to everybody's body, but it's also the name of our company.
Really?
Body of Nine is the name of our company. And it also describes the work that we've been doing for 20 years, and Martin with me for the last 12, 15, 27, I don't know. Too long. Good.
In a good way.
Yes. And so this book, we have two books, The Body of Nine, Decode Your Physiology and Discover Your True Self.
Right.
This one describes all of our research, what we've learned, the 9 natural numbers, where it came from, who we are, the whole background.
Right.
It's not the first book that we wrote. The first book was The Body of Nine Practices for Presence. This came from 9 blogs that I wrote about how do you be more present as a human.
Really?
And it was based off of the 9, but not specifically. It turned out there were 9 practices for presence.
Right.
And they sort of correspond to the natural numbers, but really it was more like, this is one way of transforming yourself.
Okay.
So when you find out your natural number, it's valuable because it reveals who you are at the level of your physiology.
Right.
And gives you a physical way to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So for you as a natural number 2, you push out your upper abs, you make eye contact with somebody, and then you know how to adjust and move. And you're always ready and right there.
Got it.
That's physiology for you. Martin, he lifts from the top of his head and everything gets calmer.
And so if somebody was going to buy this book right now, where can they find that?
Oh, on Amazon.
Got it.
Yeah, just look for Susan Bennett Fisher. That's actually the easiest way to find it. My name or Body of Nine. And very easy on Amazon.
And you guys have got a really fun website, very interactive website.
Also called The Body of Nine.
Body of Nine. How about that? So you can find it right online, Body of Nine.
Yes.
Yep.
We have a lot of information there that is about what we offer and what the system is about, people's experiences with it.
How it impacts relationships, businesses.
We have a blog that talks about, different esoteric aspects of the work as well.
And do you guys do events?
We do.
Events?
We do. We go to healing fairs. We do corporate events. We speak. We have regular events here in Bozeman for identifying people. Right. We also have a guild program, professional program, where we're teaching people how to do this. How do you identify a person's natural number? Because ironically and challengingly, it's not obvious. Unfortunately, you can't read the book and figure out somebody's natural number.
Right.
Because it's a physical process. We push gently on your body, and your body knows how to do one of 9 things.
Right. Well, we did learn through COVID how to be able to do it over Zoom and stuff. So.
Right. But that takes another level of observational skill. I've seen a lot of people to say, oh, okay, I see you have a round face, you have bright, clear eyes. When you smile, your cheeks pucker up. Right. Your body sticks out at this part of the body. These are all aspects of being a natural number 2. And we would actually ask you to slide through the middle of the body, and only your body really can do that because you're a 2, because it's activated through here. Yeah. So we've learned to use the physiology, the energy signature movement to tell what natural numbers active in your body, which of the 9 centers.
Right.
So this talks about how do you become more present? Not only do you know how to activate your own natural number, step 1, and then, what skills come to you first to be able to observe the world around you without being triggered by the world around you. Then using awe and wonder and curiosity in order to be open to the fact that people aren't like you. And if you assume that somebody's behavior means something, you're going to be wrong.
Right.
And it's a great way to be able to actually take control of your life, because some natural numbers are a lot more reactive versus than proactive. And Susan, being a natural number 6, is very proactive, and there's a lot of techniques to become more proactive in the choices you make.
Right.
making wise decisions, making sure that you're holding your ideas, your beliefs as ideas, not as rigorous things you have to defend. And so it's a great way to actually be able to feel like you, and give you access to taking more control over the life that you're living.
Right.
And be a choice.
Yes.
Which is, when we're a choice, life is fun.
And if I was to break down this book, kind of like Body of Nine for Dummies, right?
That's kind of this one.
That's this one. And that's your newest book,
yes.
right?
Well, new now, it's 5 years.
Right.
We were best-selling author in Bozeman with both of these books.
Very cool.
For 2 weeks.
Yes, for 2 solid weeks. And this one is everything we knew as of 5 years ago. And during the pandemic, we sat down and wrote this book and got everything down on paper, which was really a powerful thing.
It's very much a user's manual for humanity.
Right.
If
you come with every child.
Yes, it should come with every child and every relationship. Because if you want to know how to be with yourself, that's the chapter on you.
Right.
If you want to know how to be with the people around you, there's a chapter on that too.
Right.
Because again, people don't hang out with people of the same natural number in general.
Right.
So the people around you, not like you. And if you want to know how to really support the people around you, that is explained in the book.
Right. Right. And if I was to kind of dive into the book and realize, you know what? There's been a lot of studying, a lot of research that went into this. Roughly 8,000 people within a 5-year, 10-year time span. And probably more in reality. Those are the ones that you just put on paper. Yeah. Never mind when you're going to the Costco and the grocery store and you're sitting, look at that number 2 over there. Oh, talking to a number 3. I can imagine how your conversations turn out like that when you go to the grocery store.
Yeah, or the waiter in the restaurant. What do you think he is? I don't know. What do you think he is?
Oh, good.
I didn't see it.
Watching movies.
Movies, yes. Identifying public figures. We have Pinterest pages with natural number celebrity pages that you can see this. So there's all male ones on a page. You're like, oh my God, they look all the same.
Right.
So similar, but some people, it also, learning to see it takes some time too.
Right.
And we go and watch bands play at the MSU and stuff. So it's always like, well, what did you think that the drummer was? Well, the drummer's obviously this because of the way he's holding the time and how people move across the stage. And it's the tells are there. If you just need to,
the place once you know what you're looking for.
Right. Right. And so what I found was very fascinating, especially hearing about your previous experiences, what kind of led you up to even writing the book, is you noticed that this is almost a lost art. Right?
That's a great description.
It was something that was lost maybe during the times of Egypt, times of Noah, wherever you want to go down.
Hidden. Yeah.
Lost or hidden and protected. Right. And so now that it's kind of been pulled out from the Sahara Desert, let's put it, and now it's been revealed unto the world, there's only around 20 to 30 years of this knowledge coming out of Egypt, correct? And so that's a way of looking at Egypt, is how is Egypt relevant to today? And that is something that I, just took the dust and knocked the dust off and say, here.
Yeah. And how are any of the older civilizations relevant for today? Right. Because I don't believe that only Egypt knew about it.
Right. No, I don't think so either. I think there's probably, like Pythagoras, he had some sort of knowledge of the 9. Right. And there are secret societies and, groups of people that were keepers of the knowledge that kept it to themselves.
And one of our theories about Egypt is that when it started becoming secretive, is when when people started to want to control the knowledge, is when Egypt started to go downhill. Right. And
the Library of Alexandria, they destroyed it, but they took out what they wanted first.
Who knows? And that's, to me, that's still one of the major catastrophes of humanity. But but there is, and again, it goes back to this whole arrogance for the Western world, at least as is that we're smarter than anybody was back then. Right. And that's just not even close to true.
I think of it, especially you're a technology guy, is we have cell phones today. Back then, they didn't need the cell phone.
Right.
They had it up here.
They had something. Yeah. And they just, if you look at some of the mechanisms they built without the technology that we have and the mechanisms that they built, who knows how. Right. Because there's
whole nother rabbit hole.
Whole nother rabbit hole.
So what we're going to do right now to kind of sum up the Body of 9, people are assuming and thinking, okay, there's 9. Okay, there's a number 1, 2, 3, and down the line we go. Could you give a quick description on a 1 and a 2?
Yes, always love to do that. So people with natural number 1 know that we're connected to Source. The Source is there to help us explore our creativity, and through our creativity, we explore ourselves and each other.
Can you give an example of that? Like, is there an actor, well-known person that you're thinking that everyone would?
President Carter.
President Carter
had natural number 1, and I had the opportunity to see him talk to the Dalai Lama, and that was a 1-5 conversation. Dalai Lama has natural number 5, the current incarnation,
right?
Dalai Lama, and he sat there, and he naturally lifts his chin, and he has beautiful soft eyes. He's very vulnerable, and as a president, that vulnerability wasn't respected. And his gentleness wasn't respected. It's why he didn't get reelected. Well, it's one of the many reasons. But he cared more about people and the impact on people than doing the process.
Right.
Most of our successful presidents, for example, have been 3s, 6s, and 9s.
Okay. And before we get to those ones, so now we've got, and that was Carter, Jimmy Carter, right, as the president of the United States. And now what would be a great example of a number 2?
Natural number 2 is all about connection. You would be a great example of a natural number 2.
Thank you.
How do you build connection instantaneously in the moment and keep that connection alive and going?
Right.
And that's what 2 brings to the community.
Yeah.
Desmond Tutu is a natural number 2.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of 2s in public leadership. There's a lot of 2s in entertainment. Matthew McConaughey, Drew Barrymore, and they're fun, engaging people.
Got it.
And often they're the kingmakers, not the kings.
Got it.
Because it's that desire to do everything in relationship and to create in the way they want to experience life. So 2s don't make decisions for their benefit. They make decisions for how they want their life to be.
Nice.
Quite different than all the other natural numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. And number 3.
Natural number 3s are inspiring, shining humans. They're generally tall and lean, or they feel tall and lean, even though they're not all tall and lean. They have bright, shiny eyes. They have a smile that goes up into the eyes. You see that crinkle here, and they have, often you see the top of the gum line. And they're here to inspire us to be the best that we possibly can.
So imagine one of the most inspirational leaders we've had in our time. Barack Obama.
Got it.
Natural number 3.
And John F. Kennedy.
And John F. Kennedy.
And Bill Clinton.
Right.
So they have
charisma.
Charisma and inspiration through hope.
Right.
Creating hope.
They just do public speaking as if it's just having a generic conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just flows nice.
And because
they can inspire.
They can inspire.
Got it.
Because hope was prime to Barack Obama's first campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's bring back hope to the world.
To the world.
And that's what he did. And that's why he was as successful as he was.
Very cool. And number 4.
So 4 is about knowing who we are, knowing ourselves, and knowing that we're all connected at the life force level deep within. So 4s go inside. You have a 4 daughter.
Right.
She probably spends a lot of time inside. They protect themselves that way too. And it's hard. We need them to come back out into the world and help us to be more connected, because they know that we're connected by life force, and they can pull that awareness of life force energy that is between us taut so we feel it. And so you get this deep sense of intimacy and connection without needing
Would that be like
experience.
an artist? Somebody that writes songs or does poetry?
Well, the way they do it. So a lot of there's a lot of 4 singers who sing about relationship and deep relationship and knowing yourself and authenticity. So you've got a Billy Joel, you've got a Barry Manilow, you've got a lot of and there's a quality to the way they sing and how they sing and what
they're
they sing.
passionate.
Rumi is was probably a 4.
Right.
So yes, the attributes of the 4ness come through in the art that they produce. Absolutely.
Right.
And they're definitely connected to previous lives. They are keepers of the tribal knowledge. And I think that there is kind of a feeling that the medicine person of a tribe was always passed down through either the male or female. It's very clear to me that there's passed down through the natural number fours,
Right?
Because they are the ones that drive for authenticity and have this deep, intimate connection with people.
And with time and timelessness.
Yes,
right. And number 5.
Well, so let me do a little quick summary. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all about forming a particular kind of relationship. So 1 is our connection to source. 2 is our connection to each other. 3 is a connection soul to soul. And then 4 is our connection to ourselves.
Wow.
And they all use eye contact to create a very specific kind of connection. Now we have the 5 through 9, which do not use eye contact to create connection. We look with our eyes.
We build a relationship by shared experiences.
Right. And we care about doing things more than we care about being together to a certain extent. Obviously, there's, we all need people, and we all do better when we have people around us, except when people are jerks, right? So the net of it is 5. 5, why don't you describe 5?
Well, 5 is about understanding what we know and understanding what we don't know. It's about being the helper and protector. So 5s in general build relationships with people they can help. They anticipate people's needs, and they'll do what they can to help people be successful. And it's really that simple. It's very much about building localized versions of the internet. It's basically building
people and ideas all pulled together.
Right. Yeah. And natural number 6 and 5 is at the top of the head, so it's upwards to the heavens. Natural number 6, which is Susan.
6 is about moving the world forward, feeling the energy that's present, synthesizing it, and knowing what's most important, what's the most significant thing we can do next. 6s are very present in the moment people. The voice resonates. You can feel how my voice resonates very differently than most people's, because it's an expansion of the chest, which creates a drum-like vibration in the body. And that's how 6s make sense of what's happening.
Right.
So they're always constantly moving. 6s are the sharks. They're always moving, always can't stop moving because...
And so 3s and 6s are the manifestors, because it goes back to the love dub of the world. As Tesla said, 3, 6, and 9 are the things, the energies of energy. And so without that movement, nothing changes.
Right.
And 3 is up here at the top of the sternum, and 6 is right at the center of the sternum. And then 9 is on the spine between the shoulder blades. So those 3 are in the chest. The 3 in the head are the 1 at the throat, the 7 at the forehead, and the 5 on the crown of the head. And then there's 3 in the body, 2, 4, and 8. 2 is the upper abs, 4 is the lower abs, and 8 is the back.
Which takes you to 7.
Wow.
Right. 7. 7's about making the world a better place. They have 4 questions. Is it good for the world? Is it good for me? Does it have value? Does it have purpose? Am I doing my best?
Right.
And when they get yeses, it's full speed ahead. They get nos, existential dread. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it means what I'm doing or who I am don't matter. Doesn't matter. And that can take a 7 down. Right.
And those of you that are sitting there listening saying, I understand existential dread, you're natural number 7, because the rest of us have no clue what that means.
Yeah, I would be a fan of that. Yeah. I have no idea what that means.
No, but I say to every 7, they're like, how do you know that about me?
Right. And what would be an example of a 7? Or somebody that,
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson
had probably a natural number 7. The preservation and the constant improvement. Also, 7 is about optimization, making things better all the time.
Right. And the guy from Apple.
Oh yeah, Steve Jobs. Yeah.
Not necessarily a guy you like, but a guy that really
change
the world.
Everything.
Right.
And one thing about natural number 7s is that they are way more sensitive than they ever let on. And so if you've got friends that seem to be always happy no matter what you say, but are always telling you how you can be better, they're natural number 7s. And they really, really feel it every time you make fun of them.
Right.
So just be aware.
Right. That's a good example right there.
And then natural number 8, the movement centers in the low back, and they are talk about grounding. They have created and defined grounding for us because they know actually how to draw energy up from the earth and into their bodies.
Right.
They are the know what to do, what order to do it in, how to do it best. They are the getter-doners of the world. And powerful people that test others and make change, manifest things with integrity and safety for all.
And their definition of integrity may not be your definition of integrity, but as far as they're concerned, it is integrity.
Yes. And then 9.
Oh, who would be a good 8?
Good.
Good is an interesting conversation. I can give you 2 examples,
Interesting.
one on each side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has natural number 8.
Okay.
And Mrs. Clinton, natural number 8.
Ooh. Is that why
And
they were
Mother
contending?
Teresa.
Yes.
So you see, that's a huge spectrum.
That is.
But that's why you could superimpose Hillary's face on Trump's face, and you couldn't tell which one was which. Yes, they have the same structure of the face, the same eye quality, and they both did things their way. That's sometimes can be an attribute of natural number 8.
Got it. Very good example.
And except it goes back to their definition of integrity versus
Got it. It's how they see it out of their eyes.
And when they know the right way to do something, they will do it their way.
Right.
And
my way or the highway.
That
concept.
It can be, and I hate to. I don't like to point at the negative aspects. Well, are they negative? Sometimes causing challenges for people aspects of the natural numbers, but they're there.
Right.
Every benefit is also an Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And so it's
and that's the art of your natural number is how do you.
But as Susan said,
keep
most
from turning into Achilles heels.
Most of the presidents in the U.S. have been
3s, 6s,
and 9s.
With George Washington and Thomas Jefferson.
Right. But if you look at the female prime ministers of other countries,
8.
most of them are 8s.
Right.
Maggie Thatcher.
Right.
The prime minister of India back when.
Yes, Indira Gandhi.
Yeah.
Also the one who was the prime minister of Germany.
Yes.
What was her name? Oh, well.
Right.
Yeah. So, yes, women in politics are 1s and 8s.
Yeah.
Mostly.
So,
1s are fighting for equality and 8s are trying to get things done.
I guess mainstream would say, well, Hillary Clinton's like an alpha female. So would an 8 be considered an alpha female?
In our culture, we have defined powerful women in that way.
It depends on where in the culture that. It turns out that a lot of how your nurture impacts you and your natural number depends obviously on where you grow up.
Right.
It turns out that natural number 8 women, and I'm separating out the male and female because there are differences. Natural number 8 women in Montana are in general very, very well supported.
And very gentle.
Almost fated, in fact, because it is actually the number of people that the books have been written about that have come out and done the homesteading thing and been successful in Montana.
Right.
They have to have a certain amount of power.
Right. Pioneer stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. And so natural number 8 women in Montana are very gentle.
Mm-hmm.
Natural number 8 women, when they get competitive, aren't as gentle.
Right.
But it's a great quality.
And that's somewhat true of all of us.
Yes.
But hey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want to.
Aspects of culture bring out that competitiveness.
Yes.
Right.
Or that need to hold a boundary and defend yourself. And those things create different manifestations of the 8ness.
And a lot of, obviously we're pointing at these particular politicians. We don't know the politicians. We know the persona.
Right.
That we've been fed by.
General ideas. Yeah. And so number 9.
9 is about knowing where we are in the space in the universe. 9s have the biggest of pictures, and they are about the start and the end of the process of transformation and growth. And they harmonize and balance. And so constantly working to enable the natural flow of life.
Right. And if you want to compare, then the Bushes, senior and junior, one was a 6 and one was a 9. And they were very different presidents.
The father was George Bush Sr. But how 9 shows up is, the Martin Luther Kings and Nelson Mandelas of the world who have very, very large views of how things could be better and will take the long haul route to make things better.
Right.
Yeah, our experience is that all the 9s in our community have these huge visions.
Right.
The example of let's change American healthcare, which is a fairly big vision.
Right.
And the rest of us are like, okay, that's not a bad plan. Let's look at this little bit because that's all I can handle. But the 9s are very much, no, we can do the entire thing.
Right.
Because they see the big picture. And so it is fascinating to take this knowledge and apply it into an organization or into a friend group.
Right.
Because you can see...
Or family.
You can see how the dynamics work in any of these things, going back to politics. And you can pretty much expect how things are going to work or predefine how things are going to work. But if you know the natural numbers involved, you can actually look at the gifts that people are giving you.
Right.
Because this is very much about what are the gifts.
Right.
And if you, whenever you're around, you help the connection be smoother, more fun, more engaging. That's what you do.
Right.
And that's not us.
Mm-hmm.
If we, two of us were sitting here in the room, we've done various things. We don't have the energy or the dynamism.
We couldn't have done these podcasts like this if you weren't here.
Because it's easy. Every time you walk into a room, everyone's relationship gets easier.
Right.
Just of who you are.
Right.
We tell the story that we spent a lot of time learning West Coast swing.
Mm.
And before our teacher came in, who had natural number 2, we'd try and we'd end up arguing. As soon as she walked in the room, we just, okay, well, we'll just hang out and we'll just do the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
We dance beautifully together.
Each of us has an impact on the environment around us.
Right.
Even if you don't know it.
Right.
Even if you're in a snit, even if you've had a bad day, you're still going to influence the world around.
Right.
And understanding this helps you understand how you impact the world.
Right.
How you can use your gift in the world. And sometimes knowing what to look for to make a change.
Right.
Because if I want to, or if we want to make our world a better place, or if we want to, okay, we're doing this, how can we make it better? We'll go find a natural number 7.
Right.
And you know, there are literally thousands of examples where the universe provides, as you say, and the right thing comes at the right time. And we know not to dismiss the input.
Right.
That you get from other people, because people are not trying in general to be a pain in the butt.
Right.
They're trying to be helpful. And sometimes, you know, people have been giving messages their entire lives and they get fed up with it because they feel lonely because people keep ignoring them. Yeah, it's a real. People do.
Right.
Can't even hear you.
Yeah, but we shouldn't, because they're just trying to give us their gift.
Yeah.
And this helps with that a lot.
Right.
But still challenging.
Yeah.
You know, there's no panaceas.
Right.
And it's one person at a time.
Yeah. So going back to how we were kind of relating before, we were talking about astrology a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about maybe this could complement one to the other. And neither one of them is like hardcore doctrine, but this is to help facilitate, maybe as an employer, as myself, to know, okay, this kind of personality, is that what I'm looking for?
Oh,
if I need somebody to change the world, I need a number 7. Or if I need, you know,
depends on how you want it done. Too.
How you want it done.
Yeah.
Right?
And so disclaimer.
Do I want a business full of number 6s all day? You know, and you're thinking.
Anybody can do anything. And this is a disclaimer we have to make all the time. We're never, ever going to say, thou shalt hire this particular number to do this particular job. We've tried it a couple of times and it doesn't work.
Right.
But you can say, but you can say, if this natural number is going to do this job, that's how they're going to do it.
Right.
And we can say, you really need all 9.
Yeah.
Because if you're missing one, you lose a particular flavor and power.
Right. One complements the other.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like having too much salt, not enough pepper.
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out here and giving us, you know, an awesome tour of your body, the Body of 9 book. And we're going to obviously have your live feed on there and a link there so people can go to your website, purchase the book.
I just want to also say, people also often want to know, how do I get identified?
Right.
You can get identified from anywhere over online.
Yep.
Just go to the website, buy an identification package for you, your family, or your children.
Right.
And you can find out your natural number.
Yep.
And we have events locally and various places around the country.
And and if you want us to come visit you, let us know.
Perfect.
Love to travel.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on to Extreme Power Hour podcast.
Thank you.
All right. This is All in Energy. Stay tuned for the next.